hiding out like this, hands up. I saw that at least, but I'm not sure if they actually hit Trump or him. There was blood on the stands, though. Jeez, yeah. So somebody shot the guy. I don't know who it was, though.
First thing I saw, those guys started sniping, and then I actually have a video of Trump getting. I saw it. He had blood all over his ears.
Wow.
Yeah. So all of a sudden we hear like 6, 7 gunshots, and then we see Trump go down, and then we had to get down because we want to, we don't want to get hit.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, I think he's all right though.
And we heard the first crack of the gunfire, and I just screamed, "It's the sniper! It's the sniper!" And he was firing down toward the water tower.
That's what we're hearing.
And yeah, and then at that same exact moment, there was a spray from the right side of the stage that I thought was some type of gas, like, or not gas, but smoke.
Sure.
You know, lined up front. And he said it was. He heard it was gunfire, didn't hydraulic on the one track. So the gunfire was coming toward the stage.
Wow.
And then a few minutes later, there was a couple more shots down the hill, and that's when they started to.
This Donald Trump situation just keeps getting weirder and weirder by the minute. I've already seen dozens of interviews from people who were at the event who said they saw the suspect before the incident even took place, and they warned law enforcement. But even worse than that, I actually reported this over on my other channel, and I reported this on Twitter. So if you haven't subscribed over there, and if you haven't followed me over there, go do so. But it is now being reported that local law enforcement noticed the suspect acting suspiciously around metal detectors as he was coming closer to the event. They warned the Secret Service. They told the Secret Service to watch him. The Secret Service did nothing. They allowed this dude to climb all the way on top of a building and get shots off at Donald Trump before they neutralized him. Even though they were told by local law enforcement, hey, watch this guy, he's acting really weird. So if all of the stories of people in the crowd telling you, hey, we noticed before law enforcement did, we were warning people, if that was not enough for you, then now you know that even law enforcement warned the other law enforcement, or local law enforcement warned the Secret Service. Now, last night, the FBI, Secret Service, local police, they were acting as if they hadn't identified the suspect yet. Well, when they were doing those press conferences, pretending like they were still trying to figure out who the guy was, they were already at his house. They were already searching his house, and they're still at his house as we speak. And they have set up one hell of a perimeter, folks. Listen, I cover true crime cases and stuff like that all the time. I see situations on a daily basis where law enforcement blocks off certain areas while they conduct an investigation. I see homes get searched multiple times a week, and I see, streets get blocked off, what have you. I've never seen a perimeter set up like what they've got set up here. They don't want anyone getting close to this home. I don't think they want anyone really knowing what transpired here. But as I said, more and more witnesses are coming forward, and I'm about to show you a clip right now of another witness who says he noticed the suspect well before law enforcement did anything. I'm going to roll this clip, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Now, we have an interview that News Nation got with another witness named Easton Smith, who also identified a curious person, a suspicious person. I want you to hear the interview, and then we'll put into the context of what we already know.
Probably a minute or two before the shooting, saw a guy, gray shirt, climbing up the metal roof on the building right beside us, and didn't know what he was doing, trying to alert cops and police that there was a guy crawling on the roof. And then we saw a rifle sling over his shoulder, and yeah, after that a couple shots fired off.
This is now the second eyewitness that I have reported on with a very consistent story. The man whose body is on video being shown on top of a metal-roofed building that was adjacent, catty corner to where Trump was on the stage, which would have positioned him with a shot at the right side of the former president's head, which is where he was struck, multiple shots fired. And gray is consistent with what seems to be the color of the camo that we see on the man who was positioned in the red square at the top of your screen. Authorities are also reporting that they recovered on that man an Armalite AR-style semi-automatic rifle, an AR-15. This was really not the best weapon for an assassin to want to use with this kind of shot, but that's what was used here.
So these interviews are starting to stack up, and more people are coming forward claiming that they saw the suspect, that they noticed the suspect on the rooftop, and that they told law enforcement, and that nothing was done about it. And as more and more people come forward, I'm sorry, I don't want to be that guy, but I find it harder and harder to believe that random people at a Donald Trump rally, these random people, they all noticed the suspect. But all of these trained professionals didn't. Local law enforcement, I mean, they even told the Secret Service, hey, this guy's acting suspicious, watch him. Yet they didn't notice anything. You got trained snipers who were literally aiming at the building where the suspect went, and they didn't notice, but the people in the crowd did. I'm sorry, that's absolutely outrageous to me. But in all of this confusion and all of this craziness that is going on, I don't want us to lose sight of the fact that someone lost their life yesterday, because that is not being talked about enough. Everyone's focused on Donald Trump. Everyone's focused on the suspect. But someone died yesterday. A man by the name of Corey, who threw his wife and daughter on the ground and he shielded them. He died committing a selfless act. He was a real man that sacrificed himself for his family, a man that has been described as a girl dad. And his daughter and his family, they have posted some really emotional posts on social media. And listen, I don't want to read this post because I don't want to crack up or get too emotional. I got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of more information coming in. I got a lot of videos to pump out, and I can't afford to get emotional here. But I'll post the post so you all can see what was said. This family loved this guy. This daughter loved her father. And I always respect a good father. But there was something that happened yesterday that I found absolutely disgusting, and that was the reaction from some of these respected people in the true crime community. Because you see so many people within the true crime community, they claim to be a voice for the victims, but in reality, they're wolves in sheep's clothing that prey on your emotions. So I don't know if you know a guy, or maybe it's a girl, I don't know the gender. But there's a person by the name of the Docket. You may have heard of them. I believe the Docket provides like court documents to other true crime YouTubers. Well, the Docket thinks that everything that happened yesterday was fake. He thinks that the dad who sacrificed his life to save his daughter, he thinks that that's fake. And I find that absolutely disgusting. Because these are supposed to be voices for the voiceless. These are people that convince you all that, oh, they're good, genuine people that are really here to help out when it comes to these true crime cases. And they're here to help the families of the victims and spread awareness. That's not the case at all. The Docket literally thinks that the guy who died yesterday, it's all fake. And I find that absolutely disgusting. And all I'm going to say is y'all need to be careful out here. Because people are taking their mask off. And we see a lot of people for their true colors yesterday after this event took place. But we're also learning a lot more about the suspect. And we're learning that the suspect was bullied in school. And I don't know about you all, but I'm tired of this same lame, bogus excuse. Bullying sucks. It's bad, but it exists. Bullying cannot be used as an excuse for someone to carry out a violent act like what happened yesterday. I'm sick and tired of every time someone does something crazy in this country, oh, they were bullied, oh, look. That's not an excuse. Just because you got bullied doesn't mean you can do something like what transpired yesterday. Plenty of people get bullied and they don't wake up the next day and try to assassinate the president. But what the media is doing right now is just as disgusting as what the docket said. You see, the media, they're barely mentioning the guy who lost his life. And now they're already trying to get you to sympathize with the suspect. Feel bad for the suspect because people were mean to him in school. You know what? Before I go off, I'm going to go ahead and roll this clip. I'm going to cool off for a second, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. That victim is Corey Comparatore. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro sharing that he spoke with Comparatore's family and called him a family man with a wife and 2 daughters who acted like a hero to save them. We heard reporting that he actually dove on top of some family members to try to save them. He was a firefighter and was an avid Trump supporter, according to Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania. We are also learning, Anna, about the suspected shooter, Thomas Crooks. We understand that he, according to a friend who attended school with him, was described as a loner, as somebody who would often sit by himself at lunch, who would wear every once in a while hunting gear or camouflage. And this person that we spoke with who went to school with him says that led him to be bullied in school, allegedly. It's something that we're checking with authorities to confirm. But this is really the first account we are hearing about Thomas Crooks from somebody who went to school with him. I'll have you listen to a bit of his interview.
He was bullied. Like, he was bullied so much. He was just made fun of, I guess, for the way he dressed or his appearance. He'd wear hunting outfits sometimes. He would always wear a mask, even after COVID.
That classmate also telling us he believed that Crooks was in a hunting club that was associated with a rifle club, rather, that was associated with the school, suggesting that he had had some familiarity with weapons. On that note, the AP reporting that according to 2 law enforcement officials, there were his father, Crooks's father, allegedly purchased the AR-style rifle that the suspect is accused of using in that assassination attempt on former President Trump. They are also reporting that explosive materials were found at the shooter's home, the suspected shooter's home, and in a vehicle associated with the suspected shooter.
I believe that when these type of crazy events happen, the fact that we always bring up bullying and we focus on how these young people were treated in school and what have you, I feel like that may be detrimental to our society, because I feel like you are providing other crazy people with a justification to do something absolutely insane. And there's a lot of monkey see, monkey do in this world, especially in this country, and especially after the introduction of TikTok. People are programmed to not even really think for themselves. They just do what they see other people doing. But there's so much more that we're going to learn about what happened yesterday, and there's so much more that they're never going to tell us. And I find it kind of weird that Secret Service is kind of being dodgy when it comes to answering questions and showing up at some of these press conferences. The Secret Service didn't even show up to one of the press conferences that they were supposed to. So they know they're in hot water. And it's like I've been telling you all with all of these other stories about planes crashing, train derailments, factories exploding, and now botched security. It's just like when you put all of this stuff together, it's really hard to believe that we are surrounded by this many incompetent people. I get it, DEI, other stuff, I get it. I get that people are just dumb these days. But I just can't believe that all of this stuff is just all because people are dumb and incompetent. No, man. There's more to this stuff. And I think that there's more to this story that happened yesterday. I really feel as if this little lapse, this little breach of security, I'm not so certain that it happened, that it didn't happen on purpose, or that this wasn't allowed to happen. Let's just say that. I believe that this may have been allowed to happen. But There's a lot more interviews I'm going to show you. There's a lot more information I'm going to bring you all. Also, I'm constantly updating new information over on X or Twitter, so follow me over there. But for now, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all soon in the next one.